This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Hey, you can join KFAN's Justin Guardsy Monday night at Gray's Food Hall for a season kickoff watch party. You can drop by starting at 7 to catch the Purple as they open up the season against Chicago. Plus, enjoy great food and your shot to win awesome prizes. Full details now, KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
Thanks for helping today, Double B. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Pretty good. Are you prepared for bits and bets?
I am.
Good. That'll take place. This is radio, by the way. You can say more than 2 words with a response. 3-2. Brett's bits and bets after this 32 and 23. That's followed by Anthony Barr, the former linebacker for the Minnesota Vikings, who recently retired. And feet to the fire. You ready for that? I gave you my playlist. Can I do anything else for you?
No, you're good. I am ready for feet to the fire. I'm willing to hold your feet to the fire as far as it comes to the Purple. I'm looking forward to it.
This is a rare opportunity where you and I working together this time of the year, you being from Iowa, but a Green Bay Packers fan, and you take it very seriously like a lot of fans do. So I decided at 11:20, about an hour and 15 minutes from now, to craft something called Feet to the Fire, where I push Double B on Green Bay Packers related questions. And he does the same with me as voice of the Minnesota Vikings. So I got about 4 or 5 of them, maybe 6. And I would imagine you're going to put my feet to the metaphorical fire at about 11:20. You're excited for that, aren't you?
I'm ready. It's a good bit. I like the idea.
You're excited for that, man. So let's take it. Let's strike the proverbial iron while the symbolic fire is hot. All right. 32 and 23. NFL films bad. What do you think? Should we drop a bet underneath this?
I love this.
Let's. So you find your favorite NFL films bad, and I'm going to rattle through these 4 pages that I wrote yesterday on each and every team, and hopefully everybody enjoys this because it's quick pops on all of them in 23 minutes. So we're going to get after it with a take or two on every National Football League team in the NFL because I have met 2 or 3 people of late who are devotees to KFAN and 9 to Noon and the KFAN Minnesota Vikings audio network. They like the Vikings. They like listening to conversation about the Vikings, and they like listening to Vikings games for whatever the reason. But 2 of the 3 were transplants. Their favorite teams are in other places. So, they're talking to me about KFAN and about the Vikings and things like that. And I'm like, it's let's craft some quick pops on all of them to serve non-NFC North fans, if only via quick twitch fashion, okay? 14 playoff teams will be unveiled. The NFC North will get 3. Don't add us. The NFC North will get 3. Don't add us. 9 to Noon, admittedly, becomes myopic. With Vikings and NFC North talk, we aim to not be repetitive, and also being company guys, we know what wins for the bosses for ever-changing audio audiences. So this also serves as a Minnesota mental break for yours truly, who is obsessed with this Vikings and Bears game so much. Head coach Kevin O'Connell basically told me yesterday I need to calm down 6 days before the game. So this, it's a little mental break for your boy, but it also is to serve those who follow, cover, and or root for other teams around the National Football League. We try not to be fat and happy around here and try to be repetitive, but sometimes it's tough to get away from it because we know what the listening audience cares about most. But this is going to be that mental break and that diversion, and we begin in the AFC, and here they are. All 32 in 23. Brett's Bets chimes in if and or when he sees fit. So I'm going to have my head down a fair amount during this. So if I happen to be in the middle of the ice on a rush with my head down, I don't want some beef eater clipping or clomping and smacking me and knocking me down to the ice and concussing me metaphorically, okay? So give me one of those if you got something on one of these teams, and you go ahead and jump in here whenever you want at Brett KFAN, okay?
I got you. Got you.
What the hell's your problem right now? I mean, seriously, why are you giggling so much, and why do you keep looking at me like that? So weird. All right, the Buffalo Bills are the bomb, and it'll be interesting to see how they miss the Super Bowl again this year, despite having an early, 3-2. 32 in 23. That says in 23 minutes. Fun exchange yesterday with Kevin O'Connell. Check the X's and O's podcast. Let's begin in the AFC. The Buffalo Bills are the bomb, and it will be interesting to see how they miss the Super Bowl again this year, despite having a nearly unstoppable runner and thrower at quarterback, and they were boring on Hard Knocks. But the Buffalo Bills, playoff team. The Miami Dolphins seem to be close to an implosion due to offseason exchanges between the head coach and some of his players. Fantasy sharps are down on A-Chain at running back. Fantasy sharps, they're down on him. Tua lacks identity. Truly, what is Tua Tagovailoa really good at? Or what's he really bad at? I mean, what's his identity? Tyreek is the cheetah bomb, and he'll get his. They ain't making the playoffs, though. How did the Jets make the playoffs when Justin Fields never has had a swivel? 1, maybe 1.5 with the reads for Justin, then run. His passing game coordinator is Scott Turner, Norv's son, who coached quarterbacks here. What if Scotty gets big run out of Justin? What if Scotty Turner gets big run out of Justin? Quinnen Williams rocks. Aaron Glenn will get big run out of them, but no playoffs for the New York Jets. The Patriots plod. Henderson has some lickety-split, but overall they clomp too much to make the playoffs. Saw it during the joints. They clomp. Drake May be average at best. He might be. Now, I happen to like him, so I hope he ascends this year, but totally not sure what to think of Drake May. And they have Diggsy. They got Stephon Diggs. No playoffs this year, and one cannot even smash their season wins under because there are myriad L's sprinkled all over the Patriots schedule. This isn't a football team. It's an enigma. Cincy is fresh with Joe Burrow, Jamar, and T. Those guys already could be members of the Captain Cool Covenant, in my estimation. I'm not fearing the play action with those running backs, though, until you show me I have to. Joe and Jamar can carry you, though. Joe and Jamar, couple of members of the Captain Cool Covenant. Superstars. Bengals. Playoff bound. It's the playoff bound Cincinnati Bengals, all of you non-NFC North devotees listening right now. Our guy Stefanski is waist deep in the big muddy with that Cleveland bunch. He's waist deep in the big muddy right now. Tough team. It's a tough team for whom I happen to be pulling. They know how to win with Flacco, and I like Cedric Tillman. Running game is uber important to Kevin, and I'm not sure where it comes from. So they just got a lot to work on there out to Seatown Way. No playoffs, though. I'm just not vibing the Steelers and Rodgers and DK and stuff. TJ Watt, though, TJ Watt, when you compensate TJ Watt, you probably have a chance to have one of the better defenses every single year. Steelers, they'll be tough to beat at home. They always are. But I'm boom or bust with Aaron. It's either, wow, holy cow, it's completely over, Johnny, talking about Rodgers, or the boom hits. And he's responsible. They protect him, and that one last HOF bit comes out of him, and they roll. No playoff soup for the Pittsburgh Steelers, though. I don't see them going to the playoffs. Ravens win the division because they beat you so many ways. Defense rushes and covers, and they beat on your defense so violently, it's tough to sustain for that defense in fourth quarters. So the Ravens, one of a handful of teams that are the top choices to get to the Super Bowl. Playoff team for sure, most likely a division winner. The Texans should win the South. All right, the Houston Texans should win the South. C.J. Stroud regressed last year, and I'm pulling for him to have a much, much better year. I still see the Texans as a fast, glitzy, shiny toy on which many glom, and they never come through when it matters. Still, playoffs, because the Jacksonville Jaguars will come up short in a hotly contested AFC South battle. I, for one, think Trevor Lawrence throws for 30 touchdowns in this offense. 30 touchdowns passing coming from Trevor Lawrence.
Oh my gosh.
His career high is 25. I, too, think Etienne takes a step forward off last year. Man, I'm putting a lot of faith in Duval guy. But I think Etienne takes a step forward off last year, the way Liam calls it. I just think that he's a perfect running back for the way Liam Cohen calls games. But does Etienne want to come through with his part of the deal? Nous regardons la télévision, pourquoi? The shiny toy will beat the Jags by a single game for the division in a low-rated race that keeps Duval guy out of the playoffs for now. The Titans, they need to properly raise Cam Ward. And if that goes haywire, people will lose jobs. And Danny Dimes and the Colts might be interesting, but not sure if Jones can go Darnold on the bit over there. And what that means is, well, he'd be the bomb all season, then miss 5 open touchdowns in the biggest game of his life, and sadness and consternation would creep into the covenant. No playoffs for the aforementioned two, talking about the Titans and the Colts. On with that AFC West. Let's get on with that AFC West in the controversial 32-23. Chiefs win the division. Denver gets close to winning it. A commitment to excellence has returned to the silver and black, and the Chargers are the odd team out. Now, the Chargers, a team the Minnesota Vikings will face this year, the division will contend with the NFC North for best in show, talking about the AFC West. I believe it will contend with the NFC North for the best in show, because 32-23 is here to tell you the Las Vegas Raiders, ladies and gentlemen, they're back, and they're sneaking into the playoffs.
The autumn wind is a pirate, blustering in from sea. With a rollicking song, he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a hooded sash, with a silver hat about his head, and a bristling black mustache. He growls as he storms the country, a villain big and bold. And the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold. The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
Hey! Genty might be generational. All right, Jacoby Myers is underrated. Bowers will be better than last year, and he's already the bomb. Crosby is a handful. And a first-year Pete Carroll is exactly what the Las Vegas Raiders have needed. Ashton Genty and Brock Bowers will carry the silver and black to the postseason in upset fashion. New season, which means with Bo Nix, the adversaries had all offseason to find flaws, and Peyton used his time to minimize said flaws, mix potions, and trick you. What kind of step does Bo Nix take? Can their receivers and tight ends win on massive third downs in massive games? Their defense will register at least 2 touchdowns this year. Playoffs for sure for the Denver Broncos. The Chiefs are push button. While they won't go 11-0 in one-score games again, they'll push they'll push the time. Okay, 3-2. They will push that, all right, guys, it's time to try hard button when needed and eke out a division win. That's what they do. The AFC title game, however, will not be at Arrowhead.
Oh my gosh. Above average at that.
AFC playoff teams, ladies and gentlemen, 32-23, and I gotta hurry. AFC playoff teams: Bills, Ravens, Texans, Chiefs, Bengals, Broncos, and
The autumn wind is a pirate.
swashbuckling into those playoffs, big voice guy John Facenda, may God rest your soul. But the NFC, let's fly, because fat fingers are hurting at 5:30 on a Wednesday night, crafting a bit for like 10-19 on a Thursday. Fat fingers, though. This is about where I'm like 32-23. Fat fingers are hurting. It's 5:30 and I'm hungry. I dig Malik Neighbors and even Russ at quarterback if they let him call the game late. Abdul Carter, though, with Dexter. Abdul Carter with Dexter. That's nice. They seem to have an energetic, happy vibe there right now. And rookie quarterback they like, right behind HOF Russ. No playoffs, though, for the Big Blue Wrecking Crew. But I do sense they are taking positive steps. The Eagles, the old EAGLES. The Eagles are the best overall team in the National Football League and have youth at D-line, the secondary, and other places that make them look tough for years. Nobody could catch Saquon last year. Why should we believe they will this year? Then you take dead aim at him, and it's AJ over the top for 60. For Eagles fans, that sounds good enough to eat. Playoff team, and most likely hosting the NFC title game. Where's the murmur?
Oh my gosh. Above average at that.
Washington is cool, but to a certain extent caught lightning in a bottle last year. I have them missing the playoffs, but very well could be wrong. Yes, I know they went to the NFC title game, and I'm also conceding that this could be FINA, Fairness in 9 to Noon Act, and that I'm conceding I might be wrong. But don't kill the messenger. Don't at either of us, and just hear us out. The Cowboys aren't going to the playoffs, and most likely are sitting on an awful season. Too tumultuous all the time with that bunch to sustain a winning culture. It's just too topsy-turvy all the time. The Vikings, Lions, and Packers all make the playoffs, and the Bears win 8 games, right around 8. That's the NFC North, which led to the genesis of this 32-23, because 9 to Noon becomes myopic and repetitive and needed to branch out a smidge. So that's what this is, 32-23. Hopefully the non-NFC North, the Vikings, Packers, Bears, and or Lions fans are enjoying the quick pops on their favorite teams. Baker took a team-friendly deal so others could eat, and that's big time in the often confused leadership department. Probably could have squeezed much more out of that added year, but didn't, and he got paid. All right, and because he got paid, others got paid, because he didn't go to squeezing the Glazer family and management for every single dime that he could possibly get out of this right now. He was like, I've made a lot of money. I've taken care of a lot of people. I'm good right now. I want this team to be good. So I'll take this and we can fortify the village. They're going to run through a wall for Baker Mayfield. All right. In 2025, or really forever, when people are looking for leadership, it's not necessarily Tom Brady or Peyton Manning walking along the bench, F-bombing offensive linemen. It's doing what Baker Mayfield did. I'm taking this deal knowing I can get more. I'm not going to hold them hostage. And by the way, with this deal, others are going to eat, as the kids say. And others got paid and will get paid because Baker did the team a solid. Now, Baker needs to handle prosperity because he was excellent last year and has received many an accolade this offseason. Vita Vea, though. Mike Evans still wins most of his battles. Mike Evans is the bomb. Playoffs for sure for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Saints should be pretty bad, and Who Dat Nation will be like, where dat? Where dat? When looking for wins. Where dat? Where are they? Where dat? And they ain't going to find many. Carolina's a tough beat at home, but Chuba's not enough. Leggette's not enough. Baby Bryce is not enough, and either is a big physical defensive line. Feels like 6, maybe 7 wins for the Carolina Kitties. No playoffs, though. They love Michael Penix down Atlanta way. Holy cow. And because of it, Bijan is going first in fantasy leagues. Bijan, you say? People have Drake London on big numbers, and of course, this will be the year Kyle Pitts explodes, right? And looks the part of a top 5 pick in 2021. At least that's what they're saying. Fun team to watch, and games in Atlanta are super fun. Crowd's very, very lively. They got these bits where the crowd sings and they dance really, really well. But not feeling playoffs this year, and part of it will be a loss to the Minnesota Vikings a week and a half from Mark. And 32-23 concludes with the NFC West. 32 teams, 23-ish minutes. A take or so for each team over 23 minutes, and we bask in the NFC sun provided by Los Angeles and Arizona, the super unsafe streets of San Francisco, and how the beautiful, once proud city in which I lived has become the target of scorn and disdain from those who reside there, and rightfully so. Then a gloomy Seattle. Darnold, though. Jackson Smith in Jigba is the bomb. But no playoffs for Sammy D, Sam the Man on the Fan, and the Super Chickens. The Cards are fast and well coached. They improve. They continue to improve with that nice coaching staff, but miss out on the dance. The Niners are in one last cry mode. Copyright Brian McKnight. They're in one last cry mode, and Next Level Shanny will steal some wins this year, okay? How many does McCaffrey miss? I have them in the playoffs, and that's why I have Washington out. Rams win that division, and behind the Eagles are the target at which to shoot, not only in their division, but in the NFC. Murmur required. Let me do it again. Rams win that division, and behind the Eagles are the target at which to shoot in the entire conference.
Oh my gosh. Above average at that.
I know what I studied and learned and saw in seeing them twice last year. And with Devontae, it's even better this year. If that field doesn't come up slick in the divisional round, McVay's bunch very well could have beaten the eventual Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. That's 32-23 right there, my brother. NFC playoff teams are the Eagles, Lions, Buccaneers, Rams, Vikings, Packers, and 49ers. That 49ers pick I made is so lazy and potentially dumb, but Fat Fingers got tired at about 5:45 last night, and I was hungry. So,
sorry, KFAN.
32-23-ish minutes. And there is your dagger. Copyright Wayne Larrabee. In fact, that segment went quite long, which means it was of the marathon variety. Marathon segments are provided by Steve's Appliances and stevesappliances.com. Labor Day sale still in effect with Steve's Appliances in Mounds View. So with guaranteed low prices, you probably can save even more with 50 or 60% off some clearance items. Learn more and go visit Brian and Sarah, two salt of the earth-like people at stevesappliances.com. This is 9 to noon, your 32-23 leader. Excited for Brett's bits and bets around the corner, followed by former Minnesota linebacker Anthony Barr joining 17 minutes from now. I'm Paul Allen. This is the vast and ever-expanding KFAN audio network. It's 100.3 KFAN.
Step into the magic. The Minnesota Renaissance Festival runs weekends right now through September 28th. Get your tickets at renaissancefest.com. Enter for your shot to win a pair of tickets at our contest page, KFAN.com, keyword contest.
Personal foul. Clipping.
Gone with it now.
Well, let's start here.
Number 1.
We are one sleep away, PA. One sleep away from real football that counts. Cowboys, Eagles in Philly. The line is pretty laughable right now.
8.
As far as 8.5,
Oh,
Eagles
geez.
favored against the Micah Parsons-less Cowboys. Your thoughts on that matchup? Is it going to be that bad?
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a Brett's Bets related tout, this would be a passola for me, and here's why. Because the last time we saw the Philadelphia Eagles in a game, as you say, counts. I mean, they were 10-10 full throttle to win the Super Bowl. They won't be that tonight. Okay, that is not going to be the case, tomorrow night. Now, 7.5, 8, 8.5, 9 of 10 should be good enough to beat this bunch. Now, you got Dak and you got CeeDee Lamb. You got super special pick along with Ferg. The running game situation seems to be a work in progress. But I think the Cowboys will be able to score a little bit. So, therefore, if you're thinking about that 8, 8.5, then you got some backdoor terrorism with which you have to deal. The Eagles should win this game. If this was a playoff game with the Super Bowl on the horizon in the current circumstances, I think Philly would win by 20 or more. So Philly, I don't think is going to be hit legit tomorrow night, but will do enough to win. And the Cowboys, when you trade players right in front of the season, specifically game changers like Michael Parsons, and man, there's just been, I got somebody tweeted at me or somebody emailed me, being like, well, yeah, but with Michael Parsons, you're getting all these people saying that what a bad teammate he was, and this and that and the other. And then you're getting people saying that this back situation is declining and rapidly. Until they put names next to their quotes, 9 to noon does not take them seriously, does not share what they have to say, and quite honestly, does not care what those reports are. Until people, so let's say Cowboy A, come out and say, I'm happy he's gone. He was a bad teammate. He was all about himself. Cowboy B, well, he's awful against the run. And he just wanted to pad his stats and run around. Okay, put your name next to it, man. So I'm not going to believe reports that have anonymity to them when they're condemning an individual with whom they played and seemed to be okay with until he left. So that ain't cool. Now, with Michael Parsons, we'll get into this a little later, but it'd be passola for me, and I'm not like minus 320 money line guy either. So I wouldn't bet the Cowboys, I'll tell you that much.
Number 2.
One more NFL talker. Chiefs-Chargers, a Friday night Brazil game. If you want to talk about questionable turf at Soldier Field for Monday night, I think the only one that would top it would be this Brazil one, because I'm old enough to remember when the Packers took on the Eagles in Brazil last year, week 1, and it was hideous. It was awful turf, people slipping and sliding around all over the place.
Well, it happened to your quarterback, nearly
Correct.
right out of the gate, where it was a hyperextension that ended up bugging him for like a month.
Exactly, and he didn't get back until that fateful Vikings game where he couldn't run around at all, and it went badly for the Pack.
That's right.
Chiefs favored by 3 against the Chargers.
Well, I'm Mitch Holtis is the radio play-by-play voice for the Kansas City Chiefs. Wayne Larrivee, radio play-by-play voice for the Green Bay Packers. Old school, best school. Those are people with whom I've become friends over the years, where we actually talk and or text in the off season about things. So Wayne last year sent me a picture I would assume I'll get from Mitch Holtis. When's this game? Friday?
Friday.
This probably will take place Friday during the football feast at Buffalo Wild Wings Oakdale. It was looking out of the front of the hotel in Rio de Janeiro or in Brazil, and then one from outside of Wayne's window. What were they? They were armed security guards with AK whatevers, 47s, with machine guns, and there were like 7 of them within a 15-feet radius. Ooh. So I'm like, wow, seems like a pretty cool place to have a football game. I mean, they weren't out there like undercover. I mean, Blue wasn't out there just holstered with a sidearm. Nah, they had big old machine guns because it gets a little nasty down there Brazil way. That's my take on that game.
Let's do the bets.
Number 3.
I've actually got 2 for you to choose from here.
Wow.
And they're not exactly...
These ain't my bets, bro. These are yours.
Well, I get...
Back from when we were together for a month in the summer and we created Brett's Bets and you went like 5-0 out of the gate.
It was unbelievable. What I did today was look for what I thought would be the sloppiest, most boring. Betting the under is not sexy. People don't like doing it. But week 1 NFL games are gross. And a lot of times they're sloppy and holding penalties.
And under is so hard to sweat.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Panthers go to Jacksonville. Think about it.
Yeah, right.
Those are 2 quarterbacks that have struggled.
Right.
It's week 1.
Right.
The the line is 46.5.
Oh, geez. Holy
I'm
cow.
thinking it could be an underwhelming game. Panthers at Jags. Yuck.
I ain't going to argue with you on that now, in the controversial 32-23. I do believe Liam Cohen is going to get productivity out of Trevor Lawrence. That needs to happen. And I think they're going to throw more than they have thrown in the past. Well, if teams are throwing a lot, that flies right in the face of underwhelming performances. So let's see. Are we going to run Chuba 40 times? That might not win a game. Are we going to run Bigsby and Etienne and whomever else they have there? Well, that might not win a game either. So I like your line of thinking here. I'm so bad with totals that if and or when I was playing sports, totals go by the wayside because I'm just bad at them. So good luck with that. What's the other one?
The other one, I'm just going to take the winner straight up. They are 1.5-point dogs in Indianapolis, the Dolphins. I think they can at least cover that, if not win outright.
Wow.
I'm not a believer in Danny Dimes at this point. I think that offense is kind of...
Wow.
It's been shaky.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Danny Dimes better than I do Richardson, but I'll take Tua, who's been in that offense for a long time, over Danny Dimes, who's just still learning it.
Here's the deal, my man. Win or lose, if you are identifying with context and logic, underdogs, taking money lines or plus points, I'm never going to be mad at you, man, because there are too many people who do I'm stuck, so this team's minus 260 and they can't lose. I'm just going to put $2,600 on this team to win $1,000. And then all of a sudden, now you're stuck $6,200 because of stupid plays like that. Well done. Thank you, Brett Blakemore. Brett Blakemore producing 9 to noon today. Anthony Barr was quite productive with the Minnesota Vikings and has retired. Let's do a Covenant catch-up with AB next on KFAN. Covenant catch-up time. A.B.
Breeze under center. 2 receivers left. Drew back to pass. Ball's tipped at the line of scrimmage. Intercepted by Anthony Barr, who turns it up to the 25. And he's taken down at the 28-yard line. The Minnesota Vikings are dominating the New Orleans Saints.
Joining us now, the aforementioned linebacker with that interception, A.B. Anthony Barr. The linebacker is retired after 9 with Minnesota and 1 with Dallas, and he joins us now. Anthony, it's Paul Allen. How have you been?
PA, what is up, my man? How we doing?
Am I talking to Lou Rawls or am I talking to Anthony Barr? Lou Rawls, old school singer. You'll never find another love like, because that's what your voice sounded like. So what's what's retirement going to look like? I mean, are you going to go on the karaoke tour or something and do Barry White, Lou Rawls, and other deep voice people? Because you're too young to sit on the porch and sip lemonade while staring off into the sunset, right?
Oh yeah. I'm still going to be quite active. I've been spending some time with my guys down at UCLA. I've been doing some home development stuff out here in LA. I got engaged, so I got to plan a wedding. There's a lot going on, man. A lot of moving parts. So I'm excited to spend some time with my family, get some birthdays in that I've missed, some holidays in that I've missed over the last 20 years. So a lot of catching up to do.
Well, Anthony, I mean, it sounds like that you're doing that. This is happening. And you're stepping away, pretty much exactly when you want to, as opposed to like limping out of the game or being forced out, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I dealt with a lot of injuries over my career. My fair share of knees, backs, hands, and the whole gambit. But for the most part, I'm leaving the game healthy, happy. I can stand, I can walk, I can talk, I can think straight. So I'm just very gracious, very humbled by my experience in the NFL, especially in Minnesota. And I think I'm leaving at a time that feels best for myself, my family, and my future going forward.
Anthony, what are you doing with those baby blue of the UCLA Bruins out Brentwood way? Are you working with the linebackers, or you're working with the fullbacks who are going to become linebackers? What are you doing?
I just spent a lot of time there in spring, sitting with the coaches, kind of evaluating the staff, or not the staff, the talent on the roster. Trying to even maybe do some behind the scenes recruiting a little bit. And just really trying to be present and show the kids that, that they can make it to the league and try and get them right between the ears. And it was a really good experience. I'll still be popping in there every now and then throughout the season. And, they had a tough week one, but, the week ones are always kind of interesting. So hopefully going forward, they can, kind of recollect and have a good rest of the season.
Have you, Anthony, ever been to it's either in Beverly Hills or Culver City, Dan Tana's, that restaurant?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Classic.
Can you imagine if right before you came into the league in 2014, if they had NIL in 2013, all the free meals you might have gotten it like Dan.
Wow. I was thinking this. I was talking to who was it, Quessy, yesterday or a couple of days ago, and they're like, "Have you had any guys yet that have taken a pay cut to play in the NFL? Like guys that are in college making 3, 4, whatever it is." He's like, "Oh yeah, linemen from the big conferences and quarterbacks and quarterbacks are right. It's just ridiculous." And I'm like, man, I was 5, 10 years too early, but it ended up working out. I think my career still, I'm still happy with all that. But the resources now that the kids have in college is just insane.
Anthony Barr was Mike Zimmer's first round pick in 2014. And what was it like playing for Coach Zimmer, Anthony?
That's one of my favorite experiences, honestly. I thought he was a very just straightforward, just a straight shooter, and something I could really appreciate. And he was very demanding, kind of his way or no way. But that was honestly what kind of felt like what we needed at the time, and we had some really good seasons and obviously grew real close with him and his staff, George Edwards, Jerry Gray, John Gannon, his son, Adam Zimmer, and it was just it was a really cool experience. I think it was tough at times, especially when things weren't going well, but there are also times where it was just like, man, this is exactly how it should be.
And with Mike Zimmer, one of the great innovative defensive minds in the history of the NFL. In what ways would you describe Zimmer as a perfectionist with what he requires from like either you or a defensive player? What goes into the perfectionist part?
Yeah, it's just the details, right? It's like everything is in the details. The eyes need to be in the right place. The hands need to be in the right place. Your first step needs to be perfect. And things, little small things that, we kind of take for granted and our bodies almost do automatically. There was some retooling and some retraining there, trying to do everything almost exactly how we was describing. And there were times even when I remember in Mankato and we're doing training camp out over there, and we go halfway through practice and something would come up that he didn't like, and we would start the whole thing over. And it was just like, okay, this is real. We're going to be out here all day, but that's the type of coach he was. And he was, it worked for him for a very long time. Anthony
Barr, former Vikings linebacker, spent a year with the Cowboys, recently retired. We're doing a Covenant catch-up 9 to noon. Anthony, you played 3 with Chad Greenway. How did Chad help you settle into stride from college to becoming a pro?
Yeah, well, he's the perfect role model and just the perfect vet to have in the locker room. I think he obviously did his thing for quite some time, and I was coming in towards the end of his career. And I think it almost kind of lit a fire under him a little bit, them drafting a younger guy coming in, try maybe not to necessarily take his place, but at some point replace what he's been able to do for the franchise, right? So he was always very willing and very giving. He never hoarded information. He never was like, yeah, I'm not going to give you any pointers or anything like that. He was always very open, welcoming me even into his home with his family, So it was just a good example to have, and one that I was able to kind of replicate once I got to his position, 7 or 8 years later.
Now, Anthony, in 2023, you were just here for 4 games, but you got to see it, and it wasn't a great season because of the quarterback injury. But what did you think of Brian Flores' approach to defense, given it's the first time you had really, really absorbed it?
Yeah, I loved it. Honestly, it was awesome. I think it's kind of like almost the way the league is ran now and how the offenses are. It's almost like the only way to play defense. It's just how are you going to make them react? Them type of mentality, it's like we're going to attack, be super aggressive, and then there's times where you're expecting that aggression, we're going to pull back a little bit, and it was just a defense that allows guys to play very fast and physical. Obviously, still have to understand the scheme to an extent and understand what you're doing and be able to read offenses, but you're able to play a little more freely. There's a lot more, just freedom in general for guys to go out and make plays and play downhill without being on their heels as much.
What was it like playing for the Dallas Cowboys?
Yeah, that was an experience for sure. That was definitely a different experience than my time having come from Minnesota. I was not accustomed to the extra media, the people that are in the building that aren't part of the team at all. Just kind of walking through the building with corporate people from other companies, and then there's tours going on all the time while you're going through the lunch line, or you're in meeting rooms or in the weight room. Kind of see people all up on the glass looking in. So it was different. But it was still, in my opinion, I enjoyed my time there. I think they have a good structure. I think they care about their players. The players are treated well. The families are treated well. It just doesn't seem like winning is always the most important thing. And it's just, it's the business, and it's ran as such.
When your former teammate Micah Parsons, and he had 13 and a half sacks that season you were there, holy cow. When Micah is healthy and happy, what makes him such a good pass rusher?
Well, it's just his speed. It's his speed. It's his initial step. It's his little dead leg that he has to make offensive lines stop their feet a little bit. And he's like crazy strong. He has this just motor and this just strength that is kind of unmatched. He's not the most like overwhelming person to look at. He doesn't look like a Danielle Hunter, right? He's like super vascular, tall, long limbed, bendy type of guy. He's just like a little pit bull out there. He's not, like 6'3", 6'2", 6'3", 250, but just like insanely fast, insanely gifted, very aggressive, and he plays hard, man. On Sundays he shows up and he plays really hard.
How is he against the run? Because we have to think about that now, given it wears green and gold. How is Micah Parsons against the run?
I think he's pretty good. Yeah, I don't know if that's his favorite thing to do, but I think now with the change of scenery, I think he's going to be on a mission to kind of prove himself. I wouldn't be surprised if he's in that Defensive Player of the Year category. He typically is, but this year more than others, where he kind of is going to have a chip on his shoulder and almost feel like he has something to prove, which is I think will be really good for his career, because I think that's kind of the way he needs to play, with that kind of edge and that mindset.
Speaking of the green and gold, just a couple more here for Anthony Barr. Did you and Rodgers ever talk after the 2017 hit that broke his collarbone?
Yeah, I think it was maybe the following year or the year after. We were up at their place, and we kind of had that rematch. Not a rematch, but we were playing a division game, and there was a brief conversation. He was kind of hashed it out a little bit, buried the hatchet, so to speak. I think obviously at the time it was an emotional moment for both of us, and obviously him losing his season, wasn't my intention, but just playing football, and now we have basically the Aaron Rodgers rule now, where you can't even touch a quarterback without there being a penalty. So I apologize to an extent for my role in that. But it's just, I think for the most part we're cordial. It is what it is. We moved on. Understand it's just part of the game.
Very fair and very classy. Last one. What was it like playing with Harrison Smith? I mean, he's heading into his 14th year here. 14 with the same team, man. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, Hall of Fame hitman, Hall of Fame Harry, whatever you want to call him. Yeah, just one of the best players I've ever played with. Best people as well. Doesn't say a whole lot, just goes about his business quietly and just consistently shows up. And he's different, man. He's just wired differently mentally. Nothing seems to faze him. He's always in tune. He likes to go against the grain. You know what I'm saying? If you go left, if everybody's going left, he's probably going to go right. And he's just very cerebral, but also very talented and like super athletic. And I think people don't give him enough credit for that. I was surprised. My first season in Minnesota, just watching him, and he was my locker mate right away, so we've grown close, and just watching him and how he carried himself as a pro really, I think, set the tone and kind of blazed the path for me, because I was able to see that up close.
Great job, Anthony. Wonderful career. Really, really happy things are going well for you. I know we'll stay in touch, and may God bless you and your family. Thank you.
My man, thanks for having me on. Have a good one.
See you, bud. And thanks, Tom West. Thanks to Tom West with the Minnesota Vikings for organizing that. It's 11 o'clock. Back after this.